From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to be back to reality here, as many of you have to go back to work, but at least it will be a short 4-day work week for many of you, and of course for the kiddos, a short 4-day school week as well. But as we go through the week, the temperatures we saw today, they're just going to translate all the way into at least Thursday of this week. But another thing we've got to watch for are thunderstorms in the forecast. That's going to mean the potential for dry lightning and high fire weather risk here. We've got fire weather watches, even some red flag warnings and dry lightning threat. But by the end of the week, and especially this weekend, we're talking cooler temperatures, chances for thunderstorms diminishing as well. We're going to talk about all of that. A lot really to talk about in our deeper dive forecast. But before we get to that, here's your Krueger's Quickcast. For those of you that just want a quick 24-hour look at your forecast, here you go. For your Monday, September 1st, here's a look at Krueger's Quickcast. Tonight, we're dropping down to the upper 60s for the valley. There may be some smoke. I think we'll see smoke in central western Siskiyou County, even into northern Shasta County as well. Otherwise, mainly clear skies for the rest of us and some of that smoky, hazy skies out there, but you probably won't even see much, smell much in the way of smoke. Now, out the door tomorrow morning, we're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s for the higher elevations and low 70s. So you're getting the kiddos off to school or getting yourself off to work. It should be a little bit more on the mild side. Low pressure to our north and west is really what keeping that temperature from getting too terribly hot, but still right around 100 degrees, give or take, upper 90s for most of us in the valley. Now, the severe outlook coming in from the Storm Prediction Center, I think, is overdoing it on the overall coverage. I want to erase Trinity, western Siskiyou, Del Norte, and Humboldt counties, and the valley and west of the valley in general. But I do think that everywhere north and east of the valley has a potential for thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Now, earlier we were showing that potential for maybe some showers entering the valley. It's getting awfully close, but the thing is, so dry at the surface that we're looking at some light showers right there. So most, if anything, of everything will most likely evaporate before reaching the ground. If there's a sprinkle or two in the morning around Chico, Orville tomorrow morning, don't be terribly surprised, but I wouldn't count on it. And then you can see even by midday, not a lot of activity, but we start to see more of the afternoon convection develop. So thunderstorms are developing by Tuesday afternoon at about 5 p.m. and there you can see some of the thunderstorms developing north and east of the valley. But notice western Siskiyou, Trinity County, and even Del Norte, Humboldt counties are not seeing any activity out there. That continues as we go into your Tuesday night as well. And then Wednesday, even slimmer chances for thunderstorms, which we'll take a closer look at in our deeper dive forecast. So where I've got most of the thunderstorms are north and east of the valley. I think it's overdoing it, quite honestly, even for western Siskiyou County with that chance for thunderstorms. Still hot in the valley with highs in the upper 90s to just a little over 100 degrees. Now we'll keep it that way through Thursday before temperatures do start to drop. And look at this for the valley, upper 80s, low 90s by the weekend, mid 80s. By Monday of next week. For the coast, mid-60s. Inland, temperatures also dropping. I've got a chance, just a slight chance, for some showers and thunderstorms in Trinity County on Tuesday. But at this point, I wouldn't count on much, if anything. And that will be the case on Wednesday as well. Temperatures continue to drop. For Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains, we've got the best chance for thunderstorms tomorrow. A slim chance Wednesday and Thursday before we dry things out entirely by Friday. And temperatures in the 70s and 80s for this weekend into early next week. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. What do you say we take a look at that free Weather NorCal app? Yeah, there is a Weather NorCal app for free. Just search for Weather Space NorCal. Download the app for free. It's hyper-local. It's about Northern California. I generate a forecast in one centralized location. It then goes out to the app, which is a forecast that's generated by me. It goes to the website. It goes to the maps that you're looking at here. It goes to the 24-hour streaming channel. You can also share your photos from there and get all kinds of local weather information, including fire weather data, by the way, from the free Weather NorCal app, so be sure to check it out. Here is your fire weather forecast, sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. Just want to show you that there's no major wind outbreak. However, you can see tomorrow afternoon, a little breezy, over 20 miles per hour for the valley. I think that'll elevate the fire weather risk. These are winds most likely generated by thunderstorms, which course, we can get those gusty winds from those thunderstorms, and that can also elevate the fire weather risk, on top of the fact that we'll also be looking at the potential for dry lightning. Wednesday morning, we're not looking at very strong winds or for your Wednesday. So you're probably thinking, well, you're talking about the chance for thunderstorms Wednesday. Why aren't there any gusty winds? Well, Futurecast is not showing much in the way of thunderstorm activity on Wednesday, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But here you can see your fire weather forecast. We're getting those deep oranges, so we're well within that high range here, kind of in the high to even very high range for the valley. Look how dry it is. And again, with those gusty south winds over 20 miles per hour, that's really going to elevate that fire weather risk. And where you're seeing those really strong winds and those outflow boundaries coming from those thunderstorms, that could also elevate that fire weather risk there as well. Here we take you into your Wednesday, and you can see it's not quite as deep red, it's more within that high range. Still very dry, still hot. The wind's just not as strong for your Wednesday afternoon. Now, once again, as I showed you earlier, the severe thunderstorm risk, here's what I want to erase. I want to take all of the valley, erase all of this northward, and erase everything west of the valley as well. It's mainly north and east of the valley that I think we'll see the best chance to maybe see some dry lightning strikes. More on that a little bit later. I want to talk to you about the smoke here, and you can see that we will see some of the smoky skies, especially from Mount Shasta westward into western Siskiyou County tonight, even into tomorrow morning. That tends to dissipate a little bit here in the morning hours, and then we'll see some more plumes of smoke develop here late in the day on Tuesday, most likely spreading eastward again over central Siskiyou County by Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So again, the area of low pressure here, one right here, this is really preventing this heat from building as strong over Northern California. So, you may remember late last week we were forecasting highs of 105 to 106. Instead, we're talking upper 90s to just a little over 100 degrees, and it's thanks to those areas of low pressure. There's another area of low pressure right here, high pressure over here. So the flow around that high, the flow around that low is coming up, and it's going to spread some of that monsoon moisture northward. Not a lot, though. And just to kind of give you an example, last week with that widespread thunderstorm activity with frequent lightning and the dry lightning strikes in the works, well, we were looking at a lot of yellows on the map over many parts of Northern California. We're not seeing a lot of yellow on the map here for Northern California. It's a lot of green. So not as much available moisture, but enough where we are going to see some thunderstorms and at times frequent lightning strikes in some areas, but not everywhere. We'll get into exactly where that is here in just a bit. But here you can see 6 p.m. on Wednesday. You see how we see less moisture? In fact, dry slot here west of the valley, but still enough available moisture to the east and even central Siskiyou County that there could be some more thunderstorms again on Wednesday. And then on Thursday and Friday, we are seeing less moisture in place, especially in the higher elevations. So the chances for thunderstorms may be a bit slimmer as we go into the latter part of this week and even this upcoming weekend. Still chances, though, that we're going to have to kind of fine tune here as we go into the next few days. Once again, I want to take all of this, erase it, erase this as well into western Siskiyou County, all of Trinity County, and all of Del Norte and Humboldt counties. I don't think these areas will see much in the way of thunderstorm activity, if anything at all. It's mainly north and east of the valley. This would include places like Bernie, Chester, maybe even Shingletown seeing a stray thunderstorm as well. Now Wednesday, you see it's taken the valley out, which the valley should be out even for tomorrow, right? But it's still including northern Trinity County. I don't think that's going to happen. Western Siskiyou County, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's mainly here for tomorrow. And even then, it's not going to be that impressive. I want to show you two forecast models. This is the HRRR forecast model. This will take you through tomorrow evening, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at when we compare the forecast models. So we take you into tomorrow morning. Most of the activity, as you can see here, is east of the valley. It looks like it's going to be mainly in Plumas, Lassen, and even into the mountains of Shasta County, east of the valley, come Tuesday morning. By midday, we're seeing more activity, but you can see it's not very intense, just some light showers. And then we may eventually see some of those form into thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. But look where most of it is, north and east of the valley. And we're really not looking at very widespread thunderstorms. Now, some of these thunderstorms will produce, most likely, frequent lightning at times, but I don't think we're going to see nearly as many lightning strikes even in a 24-hour period as we did last week. Then we go into Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, things quiet down a bit. So keep in mind what you just looked at. Now we're going to take a look at our in-house forecast model. We call it Futurecast. And you can see as we go into tomorrow morning, now that rain moves in a little bit closer to the valley. So I don't anticipate to see much, if anything, for the valley because, first of all, this is very light. So it's very dry as you saw on the single digits relative humidity levels. So even if it's raining up above us, most likely that rain, which is light, will evaporate before reaching the ground. So any precipitation we do see will be in the foothills and in the mountains tomorrow morning and even midday. But we may see some thunderstorms developing by midday, and just like the HRRR forecast model, all of the activity is to the north and east of the valley. We're not seeing anything for Siskiyou, western Siskiyou. We're not seeing anything for Trinity County or even Del Norte or Humboldt counties. Now, this model wants to pop up a light shower, as you can see here as we go into Tuesday night, or just northwest of Redding into Trinity. That probably won't happen. If it does, it won't last for very long. Tuesday night, we're still seeing some activity in Modoc County before that dries out for the most part as we go into your Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Things have dried out. Look at the afternoon. Look closely. There's noon, just a couple of clouds. There's the afternoon. You see a couple of pop-ups here and there. This is not impressive at all. And this is because we're seeing limited moisture out there. There's more moisture expected on Tuesday than there will be on Wednesday. This is why I'm not buying the fact that we could see some dry lightning strikes or why we should even have a red flag warning in Trinity County when indeed we probably won't even see any thunderstorms there. We'll have to wait and see what happens. 10 p.m. on Wednesday, it's drying out again. There may be some leftover showers, especially east of the valley come Thursday. In fact, let's take a look at our long-range forecast model. It still wants to show some of that activity, especially in Lassen, Plumas, and Modoc County, but even parts of eastern Siskiyou County could see some activity. Once again, dry for the valley, dry west of the valley as well. And then you can see a couple of disturbances trying to push through, a few showers, maybe a few thunderstorms trying to develop here as we go into the weekend. Here's a look at Saturday towards Siskiyou, Modoc County, but really I'm not setting that in stone in the 7-day forecast just yet because each and every single forecast model run, they end up being a little different. Bottom line, it's mainly tomorrow, it's mainly Wednesday into Thursday. After that, we'll have to keep watching closely. Now the temperatures, as I mentioned, this low pressure system is backing off a little bit here. So temperatures staying fairly warm as we go into the middle of the week, as that high pressure system kind of settles in. Then we start to see this more mild air pushing closer to us. This is going to be diving down to the south, really reinforcing more of that cooler air moving in. And we are going to see a significant drop in our temperatures, especially by the second half of the weekend and early next week. We could be talking about a little bit of taste of fall. I mean, we're getting at least closer to the below normal temperatures, but really more within that near normal category for most of Northern California in that longer range. But take a look at this, right? We're talking about temperatures hovering around 100 degrees through Thursday, a dip on Friday, a much bigger dip by the second half of the weekend and next week. We're talking temperatures mid to upper 80s through a majority of next week, which is about 10 degrees below normal for this time of the year. So yeah, once again, maybe that little taste of spring out there. Wave heights are fairly low on your Tuesday. They may increase a little bit on Wednesday, but nothing to be concerned about. Here is a look at your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. Taking a look at Trinity County, still pretty hot out there. Temperatures around 100 degrees, give or take. Ruth about 95, 90 in Mad River. I've got that chance in there on Tuesday. That's it. I do expect mainly dry conditions after that and cooler weather by next week. Taking a look at the Dignity Health North Coast neighborhood forecast, mainly dry. I had showers in the forecast earlier today. I'm taking that out. I'm not seeing anything consistent with the potential for rain on the coast. Maybe sometime around early next week, we could be talking about the potential, but we'll have to kind of wait for a little bit more consistency on that. Still getting around 100 degrees. I think it's overdoing it for Willow Creek, but you get the idea. Still another hot day out there for the inland areas. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, mid 60s, that is, for the coast. All right, your Dignity Health Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures mainly in the 90s, maybe around 100 degrees out towards Happy Camp. Your best chance for thunderstorms in Siskiyou County will be tomorrow. A slight chance Wednesday, Thursday, and then we do see things really drop off temperature-wise, especially by Sunday and Monday. Modoc County, your best chance for thunderstorms will also be Tuesday. A slight chance Wednesday, Thursday. Temperatures also dropping off and most likely drying out for the most part. Also the thunderstorms Tuesday, slight chance Wednesday, Thursday for the eastern mountains. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s by the time we go into Sunday and Monday. We take a look at your Dignity Health Valley neighborhood forecast to the south. I don't have any showers in the forecast for you. If we see anything tomorrow morning, could be around Orville, Gridley, Biggs, even Chico, maybe a light sprinkle. That would be it. But don't count on that either. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast for Chico, those temperatures are really decreasing. We're in the upper 80s by the weekend, mid 80s by next Monday. We'll certainly take that. Take you up to the north, 101 for Anderson, 100 for Cottonwood, 98 for Red Bluff, and a 101 for Redding. And here's a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding. Temperatures hovering around that 100-degree mark here through Thursday, by Friday, mid-90s, upper 80s, low 90s by Saturday, Sunday, and mid-80s by Monday. That is your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have yourselves a great night.
Construction season is well underway in the North State, and we'd like to remind drivers to slow down around work zones. Keep Caltrans workers safe when they're on the job, and remember to be work zone alert when you see the color orange. Remember to pay attention to signs, merge early, avoid distractions, and don't speed. This message is brought to you by Caltrans District 2.